Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's The Drive on a Football Friday and game day and a big one brewing between the Pineview Panthers and the Cedar Reds tonight in the first round of the 4A State Football Playoffs. Here to talk about that matchup, head coach of the Pineview Panthers, KJ Boyer. What's good, Coach? Good morning.
How we doing?
Doing good, man. How much sleep did you get last night?
Oh man, I slept good. We had a good week of practice. I think the boys are ready, and we're ready to get on the bus and go up there and play.
Talk about playing Cedar for a second time this season. They got you the first time, 28-15. What's been the message on making sure the outcome is different the second time around?
Just not making critical mistakes at critical times. These last couple of weeks, we've had good momentum, and then we just get kind of a bad penalty or a bad missed tackle. Just small things that end up hurting us. So that's been our message all week: is just every play, do your job. Don't make the big mistakes in the critical moments.
Coach, I've been asking everybody that I've talked to their thoughts on, the UHSAA state bracket when it came out last Saturday. I know it's old news at this point in time, but I still am curious what your reaction was when you saw 6 region teams all playing each other there in the same quadrant of the bracket.
Ultimately, it is what it is. That's what the state decides and how the RPI works. I'm still not all the way. I don't know how the RPI totally works, but the state is what it is, and we just play who they give us.
I know that's the mindset, and that's what I've been saying all week. I mean, nobody's not going to show up for these games, but it is interesting. And I don't even know if I fully understand. Out-of-state games are weighed less. If you're playing down of classification, you don't get as much credit for wins. I mean, there's all kinds of scenarios, and yet I feel like there's some missing ingredients into the RPI. We can talk more about that in the offseason, but I love what you said. You guys are ready to get on the bus and go play the Cedar Reds. They lost Devin Crenshaw, nasty dislocation of the ankle. They've had to shuffle.
That was a bad one.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. You've had your fair share of injuries, but you got Motonga back. He didn't play in the first matchup with the Reds. Is that a difference maker for you guys having Motonga available against Cedar where he wasn't in the first time that you guys played them?
Yeah, it's going to make a huge difference in our run game of having some more power. David Beckstrand stepped up and played both sides of the ball and kicked for us when we played up there the first time. So having Tonga back for us creates a little bit more depth and a little bit more power in the run game.
Coach, between Trayden Elliott and JT Jeter, those two on Cedar amassed over 1,300 total yards. I'm sure you've seen them both on film. What are you going to do to stop number 2 and number 21?
Yeah, we got some special packages for them to, defensively they're a menace when they're on the offense, especially when they're on the same side for receivers. And then, they play both ways. They play defense a little bit. Jeter does, and Elliott rotates in. Just making sure we don't put the ball in a bad situation. And then the thing that they're both really good at is the return game. They keep both of them back there for punt returns and kick returns. Those two are athletes, and we've done our best this week to prepare for them.
Coach Boyer, Pineview Panther head football coach with us. KJ, at this point in your coaching career, do you feel like you've kind of settled in and the newness is worn off and you're getting a lot more comfortable calling the shots and being the guy over there at Pineview? I know you had big shoes to fill, legendary Coach Ray Hosner. I know he's still floating around the program a little bit when he's able to. What's that dynamic been like for you as you go get ready for this playoff game tonight?
I think the newness is worn off. It's, stepping into this role with a lot of new stuff, especially with all the behind-scenes stuff that you don't really see, fundraising and scheduling and doing all that kind of stuff. So, but I my shoes they are big ones to fill with Coach Hosner, and he comes around and helps with the quarterbacks when he's feeling healthy and doing his thing. So, it's been a good experience. But yeah, I think I'm all the way settled in and getting ready to take another leap forward next year.
I know you're getting more comfortable doing media drops. I mean, you'd always text me, your first year, like, I'd rather let the kids talk. I don't need to talk. And now you're like, I'll come on the show. You're getting more comfortable with us media guys now, too, which is a good thing.
Oh, yeah. I just, had to break the ice a little bit.
Hey, how do you keep all the mouths fed on offense over there? I mean, early in the season, it was pretty easy. You guys were putting up huge numbers, no problem. Moore was getting the ball to Quincy Jones and Brock Harris and Costa and Tonga. But you got a lot of mouths to feed on offense. What's that balance been like game in, game out throughout the season, getting ready for the postseason tonight?
Well, I think the biggest thing is all those guys are all great teammates, and they know they're not going to get the ball every single play, and they know when their time comes, they make their catches, they make their runs, and so I mean it testifies to the great group of kids that we got on offense that there's not one kid over there that demands the ball or anything. They know when their time comes, they're going to get their shot and make the most of their opportunity.
What's Brock Harris, like getting ready for games when people are throwing the kitchen sink at slowing him down? What's Quincy Jones like week in, week out in preparation for, Friday Night Lights?
And Brock and Quincy they're pretty quiet kids. They like to just kind of they do their thing. They hang out with their friends, and before the game they're both plug their headphones in and listen to music, kind of start visualizing what they're going to do. And like I said, they're both pretty quiet kids when it comes to game times.
Coach, one of the big storylines with the Cedar Reds this season was the switch at quarterback. They started the season with Coden Lunt, the senior. They've switched to Everett Kelling about 3 or 4 games into the season. What have you seen from Everett Kelling as far as a passer?
He's got a great deep ball. When he gets Elliott and he gets Jeter deep, he makes those connections. And a couple of those games we saw on film, they missed a couple. They should have won some of those games. But yeah, Kelly did a great job throwing it. And then I think what he's underrated in right now is when they run their zone read option. When that end bites in, he makes the perfect read most of the time and pulls the ball, and he'll get you a sneaky first down on a 2nd and 8, just a zone read.
If you're going to win and you're going to make a run in the postseason, you got to get it done in all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams. How have you guys divvied up your practice time between those phases? Have you given it all equal time this week, or have you put more emphasis on one aspect or the other getting ready for Cedar tonight?
We kind of just added in some time for everything. So, we'd go about an hour of offense and then hit special teams for about 30 minutes and then an hour of defense, and just kind of a little bit more, objectively focused. Okay, we're going to have a goal for each little period, how we're going to accomplish this goal. So being a little bit more goal-oriented has been a big help this week.
KJ Boyer, Pineview Panther head coach, getting ready for Panthers at the Reds tonight. If you can't drive up to Cedar City, you can watch this game on our website, thefansportsnetwork.com. Caden Formaster, Keith Curtis will be on the call on the live stream. We'll also be sending this up to KSLSports.com, part of their playoff coverage. So lots of ways you can watch this game tonight if you cannot make the game. I know all the Panther parents and friends and family, everybody gonna be making that trip up there. The band's going to be rocking tonight up at Cedar High. I know it's not a home game, Coach, but it's still playoff football, and it's a short bus ride up there. How do you spin your draw against the Reds as a positive with the kids all week?
Well, I think the biggest positive is we've seen them before, and we watched our film, and we know what we did, what we got to fix. So that was always a big thing. And I think the other big positive is, we're playing in region teams, but that's an easy trip for parents to come watch their sons play another game. They don't have to try to travel to, Park City or Stansbury or somewhere up north like that. So, we should have a good fan turnout and, almost like you said, treat it like a home game because it's playoff football. No other sports are going on. Should have a lot of fans coming up to Cedar for the game.
How important is your quarterback play tonight from your junior Adam Moore? He completed about 58% of his passes. Got off to such a great start, but as the film kind of got out there, teams have really schemed to take away your passing attack. You've had to try to stay more balanced, but he's still throwing on average for 283 yards a game, and he has 21 touchdowns this year. How important is quarterback play tonight for you?
Oh, it's huge. And it goes back to the same thing what I said. It's just making the critical mistakes at critical times. And Adam does a great job, and it's just a couple plays a game. He just makes doesn't make the smartest throw. We have a good, better, best kind of saying with our quarterbacks, and he's got to make sure he keeps taking the best ball out there. But he's dived in this week. He really got into more film, working with Coach Shaw, getting the offense going. So we should have a good offensive game plan tonight.
Gonna be fun. Gonna be fun to see if Moore can find Brock Harris, find Quincy Jones, find Matt Costa, even get the ball to Tonga out of the backfield. Gonna be a lot of fun tonight. Again, this game kicks off at 6 p.m. from Cedar High. Coach, a couple more keys. What's the message gonna be right before you guys take the field to the team? You're probably not a big speech guy, are you? You're probably just gonna get a little Pineview chant and say, "Let's go win this thing," or what's that gonna be like?
There's some games I get a little speech going. Sometimes I kind of just read the room. This senior class, these senior leaders there's a group of kids that you don't really need to fire them up. They're already fired up, ready to go. So makes the speech life a little bit easier in that department.
Coach Boyer, got to get to class. Coach, go teach them up, go coach them up, and hopefully we're talking more Panther football next week. We'll see how it plays out tonight up there at Cedar High. I think it's going to be one of the tighter games, I think, and more of the interesting games in the 4A first round. So have some fun up there tonight, and we'll see what happens, buddy.
All right, sounds good. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. KJ Boyer, head coach of the Pineview Panthers, hanging out with us here on the Fan Sports Network. Always good to catch up with him. And this Panther team, I mean, they get past Cedar, then they got Crimson next week. So a tough draw for the Panthers, but they want a shot at Crimson, I'm sure. I mean, there's no doubt you play to go up there and win and get more playoff opportunities, no matter who's sitting there waiting for you. And this is not going to be an easy place to go get a win. I mean, 28-15, the first matchup. We'll see how it plays out tonight again. 3-wide coverage right here on the Fan Sports Network starting at 4 o'clock with the tailgate show built by Buck's Ace Hardware, Fabulous Freddy's, Finley Subaru. 4:45, we'll get it down to Dixie High School and get you ready for Dixie and Logan. And then at 6 o'clock, when the Desert Hills versus Hurricane and the Cedar versus Pineview game kicks off on the radio side, we'll be giving you wraparound coverage. We'll be jumping in and out of different games. But all 3 of the games, links are up on the fansportsnetwork.com, KSLsports.com, so you can watch your favorite team if you can't make the game tonight. We got to take a break. We'll take it. We'll come back after a message from our great local partners inside the Finley Hyundai Studios. It's The Drive.